Welcome to Inquiry into Self. Will anything fix the world? So, this is not a dogma. This is not a philosophy. This is not something you can subscribe to and adopt. I'm sharing the processes that have evolved out of discovering the infinite being that we are. So, when that question comes up, will anything save the world? Well, the first thing that comes up for me is I think I have to reword the question. The world is the world. It will evolve to whatever its next step is, its next step, its next step. Existence continues. If we take a look over all of what we know, or imagine we know of history, there have been many different stages. And as you're listening to this, it's going to be at a different stage than as I'm recording it. So, saving the world implies that we know what the world should be at. It implies that there's a path identified to get there. And neither of those are true. We don't know how the world should be. We don't know the path to get there. That's what has come for me. I don't know. I don't know the better alternate reality that should be happening right now. From what I can tell, what is happening is what should be happening. And that's just from inquiring and noticing in my own life. It's very hard to make inquiry about other people because you don't know enough details to do the full inquiry. It's very hard to do inquiry about somebody across the ocean or even in a different house, or even in a different body. I can't do inquiry for someone else. All I can say is I keep doing inquiry on every single negative thing that's happened to me. In previous videos I've shared that I almost died. There was a period there where I could not eat, and I lost whatever it was, 30% of my body weight, something. It was a lot. And so I know what it feels like to starve. It actually doesn't feel as awful as I thought it was going to feel. And there were times when I was in extreme pain and they couldn't give me any more pain medication. It really felt like somebody was trying to rip my body in two. And it just caused me to be very, very present with this moment of excruciating pain. And then this moment, somehow the strength for each moment showed up. Okay, so anyways, I've made this point before. We can only do inquiry on what's happened for us because that's only where we can get enough information to do inquiry. But I've done so much inquiry that at this point I'm grateful for every bad thing that's happened, because all it did was let the eternal side shine forth, because that's what has the courage, that's what has the strength, that's what persists, and all the awfulizing is what ends up falling away. In the worst of times, there's no more energy left to awfulize. None. There's just surviving. And I became very, very present. So the difficult times actually made the awfulizing and all the ideas I had about the world have to fall away. All the ideas I had about myself, they all had to fall away. The more difficult the time, the more the false ideas of self fell away, and the infinite self became so prominent. So I would not steal anyone's suffering. It's theirs. If they want to use it, they can use it. If they want to let go of their ideas, they'll probably pop out of the suffering. I don't know. That's their path. I can just say, I'm so grateful no one stole my suffering. So now, doing inquiry for myself, I can say that I would not give up any bad thing that's happened. So I wouldn't take that from anyone else. So back to Can anything save the world? Well, now I've reached the point where what is happening right now is supposed to be happening right now. So only suffering to imagine an alternate reality. And what's going to happen is going to arise from this infinite being that we are. And I know this infinite being to be loving and beautiful. I know that it's innately strong, innately indestructible. So, whatever it's going to evolve to next, I trust. I can't even say I trust, I am it. I am this that is evolving the next moment and the next moment. And I love what I evolve into. I love it. So to say that the world needs to be fixed doesn't even really make sense. The world is this wonderful thing evolving. And all the pain has its terminus, has its purpose apparently, and it's part of what happens. Okay, so I can't say that there's anything different. Now, you might say, well, can we fix this world to be more like I would like it? Okay, that seems like a little more honest question, right? Can we fix the world so it's more like I would like it? Okay, that's a very honest question. Can I fix the world to be more like I would like it? Now, the more we're attached to wanting something different, obviously, that's going to cause suffering. But I feel that within us that likes to discover how do we reduce war in the world. I feel that within us that moves forward to give children more support, that moves forward to give our common man access to health and freedom. I feel that. So, of course, whatever it is that appears to me to do, I will do it. And what is going to happen? I don't know. So is there anything that can fix the world? Well, okay, so now we've redefined the world doesn't actually need fixing. What we are is evolving. Can I make the world something more like what I'd like? Well, certainly there's this aliveness, this interest, this motivation to love, to help, to support. And to say in this moment, this is wrong, let's fix it. Or to say in this moment, this is in process, let's help mature it. They really feel different. They feel so, so different. You know, it might feel like, okay, this is wrong, we're going to fix it, is really about the same as let's help nurture something to its next stage. But, and I've brought this up before, imagine there's a baby learning to walk. And every time he falls, you say, no. Now, is that baby going to continue standing up and learning to walk? Or is it going to be afraid of the whole process because you yell no every time it falls? I mean, that would not be constructive, right? Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't times where you put a limit on the baby, right? It walks toward the stairs, you put a fence so the baby can't go down the stairs. It's just the smart thing to do. You put a fence. If the baby doesn't know yet not to go down the stairs, you put a fence or, a gate. Same thing. If there's people who are hurting other people and we have the ability to put a fence there, put a fence. Right? But you got to watch out. It's very easy to put a fence in a way that you're actually yelling no. and just throwing more resistance into the situation. But, we're discovering how that all works. It's a constant discovery. So, can I make the world a place I'd more like to be? Well, the first thing I can do is enjoy the world as it is. Enjoying the world as it is by noticing all the kindness constantly happening around me, by noticing the aliveness, noticing the abundance, noticing all of these expressions that are coming up and being given space. As I'm appreciating the world as it is, it's so much easier to help somebody take the next step by saying, good try. I like the way you did blank. If you're learning, I don't know anything about sports, but for whatever reason, a sports image came to mind. Somebody's learning how to throw a baseball and they know how to do their feet right, but not their shoulders right. You don't say no, you say, wow, good foot movement. When you're using your shoulders, try this. That we all know that now, right? We know coming alongside. So appreciating this moment, coming alongside, this is us, this moment, enjoying this moment is integrating into the moment in the way that we have the access for the most wisdom in taking the step into the next moment. The person who's yelling no is probably not even seeing the whole picture. So can anything say that fix the world? Or, okay, we fixed that question, right? Can anything make the world more like I would like it? Well, liking the world as it is what enables me to bring it to the next step the most. And it may feel slow, right? I mean, there's a bunch of us doing this. There's a bunch of us deepening into this infinite that we are. And there's this huge wave. We're on this bell curve now. More and more people coming into this awareness of approving of this that we are, moving in collaboration, discovering the next expression of love. So, of course, there's people who are in other stages, and they're helping us. I had a vision one time that, and I'm not saying this is how things are, I'm just saying this vision opened up my ideas. It helped me loosen some of my beliefs. That those people who were on Earth were on the bottom of a Ferris wheel. Those people who were not on Earth were on the top. It was more kind of like a Ferris wheel roller coaster. And on the bottom, their job was, they're just on the bottom. This is not the exciting part of the ride. They're just down low. Their job was to make a ruckus, do things. So in the figure of life, it would be create wars, just create a ruckus. Because the more of a ruckus they created, the more the people on the top would get a full roller coaster experience. So, and then it would switch, people on the bottom would become the top. And it turned out that the most wise people, they were the ones who were the most fearless. So on the bottom, they created the most ruckus of all and gave the best ride to the people on top. Now, like I said, I don't think this is true, but it really opened my idea that it can be a wise soul who's creating a ruckus down here. So I don't know. I don't have the whole picture inside this body mind. I just know I have to act in agreement with what appears to be the role of this articulation. This articulation likes to move in connection, likes to move in creativity. That's what the role of this articulation currently seems to be. And what we are is a wisdom that is ordering it all in this evolving, in this manifesting. So I just know deeply what we are. I know it as this core of life arising, this core of love arising, this core of connection and resourcefulness and strength and indestructibility. And from that knowing, there's relaxing. There's a merging in, opening in. So all of the roles that are happening exactly as this that is should be. Now, of course, if the role is to be up in arms and be upset and say that, the end of the world is imminent, then that's a valid role. I'm not disputing that role. If the role is to create all kinds of reform and revolution, and I am not disputing that role. But I don't have to lose hope. I don't even have to rely on hope. I can rely on knowing that this that we are takes each next thing. And you can come up with whatever catastrophe you can come up with that seems imminent. And all I can say is, I would not want anyone to steal my suffering. It stripped away all the ideas I had that were separating me from knowing what I am. And I will not strip away someone else's suffering. Unless, they're sitting in front of me and I can relieve their suffering, I will. And if I see an organization doing good that I feel like is advancing love and compassion and connection, creativity in the world, I support it. But if what is happening is, at the point of inevitability, it has happened, it is truly imminent, it's at the point of inevitability, then I know that good can and does come from this. I'm not afraid of any pain that I've had. I'm not afraid of any pain that I might have. And I'm not afraid of any pain someone else might have. I'm not afraid of any pain somebody else does have. I see the strength in the moment. I see the caring. I see the courage. I see the timelessness that persists. So now that I've changed the question, what can I do to make the world more like I would like it? I love the world how it is. I see that which is within the world that is the infinite love, the infinite benevolence, in a way that engages wholeheartedly, without attachment, but with abandon. Engages because this is me. There's no retreat. There's no resignation. There's no detachment. Fully engaged. Because this is me. And I have nothing to fear. Once we're fearless doesn't make us sit back. It seems, my experience is, fearless enables us to flow freely into engagement. Like if a poisonous snake landed on our arm. If we're fearless, we just know the next step. Brush it off, or, whatever you do with the snake. If we're afraid and we're screaming and jumping up and down, that's valid. There's nothing wrong with that, but it just makes the whole thing a little more complicated. So, or if we're afraid and we're frozen, we don't do anything, also can make it more complicated. But, in the fearless state is where we have the freedom to flow with maximum wisdom. So it's not for me about fixing the world. It's about staying in the knowing of the timeless infinite that we are, staying in the fearlessness, staying connected to this love and benevolence that we are, and flowing as this wisdom, flowing as this wisdom, flowing as this wisdom. If you think this helped you or could help someone else, please like, share, and subscribe.